So, what's up with beauty, goodness, and truth? Somehow, these three words somehow always come together and are considered the highest virtues any human being can achieve in their lifetime. All religions talk about them, even atheists agree with them. What's beauty? As Lazarus very beautifully put it, beautifully put it, it's a resonance. It's made out of 8 frequencies. Each of those frequencies is a feeling, and when they come together, one add to one negate, take away from one. Now there's a soup, there's an alchemy, chemistry. Out of that, they say in quantum physics that when that soup is done, a quantum wave arises from which reality precipitates. So, what are the 8 frequencies of beauty? They come in 4 sets of twos. The first two are joy and peace simultaneously. Usually, joy and peace, one is passive, one is active, one is masculine, one is feminine. They don't usually come together at the same time. You can say yay at the same time, boom, at peace. But in a state of beauty, you look at beautiful sunset, beautiful flower, beautiful person, and you can feel that you feel, wow, I feel joy, and I feel peace at the same time. And the other next two frequencies coming concurrently together are stillness, serenity, and exhilaration, happiness. Again, those two, you cannot be still and serene and happy. They don't come usually together. But again, in the presence of beautiful things, beautiful tree, again, you feel that sense of happiness and everything's still, quiet, silent. And the next two are enchantment and inspiration. You're enchanted by the sunset. You're mesmerized. You're sucked into it. And you're inspired by beauty. Inventions, ideas, lots of that stuff comes the beauty of nature. And the last two are majesty. There's a sense of majesty, majestic authority, and wonder. When those 8 frequencies come together, joy, peace, inspiration, enchantment, wonder, majesty, and stillness, when they come together, they create beauty. You are in presence of beauty. Beauty also is a transcending energy. That means in its presence, it helps you transcend what the funk you are in, or the trauma, or the drama, or whatever you're working on. That it's not like joy, it's transforming energy. It lifts you from one state to another. Joy can lift your anger to passion, your fears into compassion, alchemically. But in beauty, is a transcendent energy. In its presence, you transcend stuff. When I am in a funk, sometimes I just take the car and go to somewhere really beautiful, and I just sit down there, and I sit in that energy of beauty. Many of my friends, years ago, when it was very hip and cool to go to India and find a guru, they would call me, Ayman, I just found my guru or my teacher, I met that person and all my karma disappeared. And I would say, oh shit, don't tell me you did that. How could you just go meet somebody in India and then suddenly all you're done, khalas, your work is done, you're enlightened? Little I knew then, I was quite spiritually arrogant, little I knew then the power, the transcending power of beauty. I didn't realize that when they sat with that sage or that wise person, man or woman or guru, they were very much at peace. And they were really excited. They were happy and still. They thought he was majestic. And his stories were enchanting. He was wonderful and inspiring. They felt his inner beauty, her inner beauty. And that beauty, their resonance with your resonance, they're not going to come down to yours. You're pulled magnetically to the resonance of beauty. And within that, transcendence can happen. So what's up with goodness? Again, inspired by Lazar's story about the legend of Arthur and Merlin and the Knights of the Round Table. England was going through civil wars for years. And Merlin, the magician, dreamt for a good king for England. As he met Arthur, he conspired to support him and teach him spiritually. He was his spiritual teacher. Knowing the dharma or the destiny of Arthur, he joined forces with him, and together they created the map of chivalry, which I compare to goodness. They wanted the knights going around with horse and knife and sword were the most powerful people in the kingdom. They're the one around the kings, leading his armies. And they thought if the knights become good, then the kingdom will be in a better shape. That map of chivalry also is considered in many many milieux or many places as a full enlightenment map for a human being. They thought if a person could have those 12 qualities in them, the divine will show through them. So what are the 12 qualities of chivalry or goodness? Honor. The knights are honorable. They are trustworthy. Honor is about honesty. Start with honesty with yourself first, then honesty with others. Humility. Allowing things to be different, new every day, every time. Not prejudging them. Courage. Obviously, a knight without courage doesn't really work. Nobility. Virtue. Virtue is about moral strength. Courtesy. They were polite, you see them, those gesture, Allah, welcome, ladies first, that's all came from there. Generosity, another frequency. Being of service, loyalty, and gallantry. Those 12 frequencies, honor, humility, loyalty, courage, virtue, generosity, being of service, all together come together and they create goodness. You often say about somebody after a meeting, wow, that person was such a good person. Well, what you meant is that in their presence, you felt their humility. You felt they were noble, lofty ideas. They don't argue about petty things. They were like really had high moral compass. They were generous. They wanted to help. They were trustworthy. They're honorable. You felt their goodness. And goodness, like beauty, is a transcending energy. It changes you. You're changed with goodness. That's goodness. It's another resonance. So, beauty, goodness, and truth. What's up with truth? Philosophers over thousands of years have been debating what's truth. Is it subjective? Is it objective? Is it obsolete? Is it this? Is it that? And they fought and they argued and debated for thousands of years. And obviously we know that there's two kinds of truth. There's your truth, your belief, your thought, your feeling, my truth is this, that's my truth. And there's power in your truth. But also there's the truth. I don't know what's the truth. The truth is probably a synergy of the highest spiritual truth. For example, one spiritual truth could be, I create my own reality, or there's no separateness, we are all one, etc. When all of those spiritual truths come together, maybe we start resonating with the truth, not really ever know it because it's beyond our domains, beyond our imagination, beyond our reality. So the best way to see truth is as a knowingness, as wisdom. We grow, we learn, we keep learning, we experience, start developing certain knowingness. The person who is an enlightened person or the wise person is somebody who's in the know. They know stuff. So knowingness starts with awareness. I'm aware I create my own reality. But then, okay, you start telling everybody I create my own reality, but you don't really understand it fully yet. And then we start practicing it. It's working, it's not working. Now I am understanding it. I am practicing it. And I understand the third phase is knowingness. Now I'm living that understanding. It's a part of everyday's life. Yes, I'm aware, I know, I understand it very well, but I know it, I live it. Now, as we grow older and we build more and more knowledge and knowingness, at a certain time, if that knowingness, that knowledge, is not sourced in love and empathy, it will turn into science. And correctly so, we need science. It's not something bad with that. But if that knowingness is sourced in love and empathy, it turns into wisdom. So what about beauty, goodness, and truth? When they come together, guess what? They create a resonance, a new one. One add to one negate one, and all this mixture, all this brew, all this soup comes up ecstasy, the natural state of the divine, divinity. This is the resonance, this is the pulse of all creation. Now we are pulsating with beauty, goodness, and truth. We are resonating with the divine. That's the blueprint for new humanity. People in the new world are people who are divine beings. They will remember their divinity. They will be beautiful people. There will be goodness, oozing with goodness, and they will be wise. What's the blueprint for new spirituality? Spirituality was in the past, it started with fear of God. God will put you in hell if you don't behave. If you behave, He puts you in heaven. And then come New Age, the last 100 years, 50 years. No. You can't be scared of God. God's not going to punish you. It's ridiculous. God is love. I am God. I am love. I am love. I am God. And people standing at the beaches singing, I am God. I am love. Love is God. God is love. Love is God. And that's correct also. It is. But a new spirituality is emerging. And that new spirituality is a beyond love or fear. It's about partnering with the divine. We call it partnering with the pulse of all creation. So we're moving into more of an equality. Call it equality, but we are resonating, we are in tune, we are in sync with the universe, with the divine, and we are co-creating together. So you cannot co-create at other levels of your evolution, because co-creation says, I know how to create, you know how to create, and we're coming to co-create together. It's not about, okay, I'm gonna lean on you so you can, because I cannot do it by myself. And the other, and this is the hardest one, and when I heard the Zara say that the first time, I said, what? This is really, really far-fetched. That when there is in co-creation, when there is success, it is shared. When there is failure, everybody takes full responsibility. They don't share the failure. Beauty, goodness, and truth is the blueprint for new humanity, is divine being. Beauty, goodness, and truth are the new spirituality, partnering with the divine. The map is easy. You become more beautiful. You always see the beautiful in everyone and everything, and you always create beauty. But what does that mean, becoming more beautiful? Rowan used to say, I am 75% beautiful, because when she's with me, she can feel joy and happiness and inspiration, and she's enchanted by my stories, and she thinks I'm wonderful, and I inspire her, and I'm majestic. But stillness and peace, I'm all over the place. I'm never still. I don't know what stillness is. Even when I'm sitting relaxed, my body is like this. So I know. So I have 6 out of 8 frequencies. That three quarters, 75%. So I know what do I need to do to become more beautiful. Because if I become more beautiful, whatever people around me, they transcend. I help them overcome issues found without just by my presence. I don't have to do anything. I'm just more. I'm beautiful, and I'm emitting beauty. Now I might not, you know, beauty, but people will feel my beauty, and they will be changed just by that. I don't need to process them, tell them what's wrong with them, etc. They're just transcending, meaning funk is out, no processing needed, as it was never there in the first place. So I know that if I bring more stillness and more inner peace in my resonance, over time I'll become more beautiful. Now, do you mean I have to wait 20, 30 years to build all those qualities in me to become beautiful, to be able to become a transcending machines moving everywhere? No, because the brain does not understand time and space, actually does not even understand if something's outside in reality or inside your mind. You know, you close your eyes and feel a lemon and you start feeling sourness in your mouth. And same thing here with your brain. You go in a meditation and you do alchemy. You think of being at peace. At one time by a river you sat down very still and feeling so at peace, nothing wrong with the world, no problems, nothing, I'm really at peace. And you remember a time where you felt so much joy, when you were jumping on something and whatever. Keep a picture of each one of those 8 frequencies. Every time you want to do this exercise, you feel those 8 frequencies, you feel the joy, you feel a moment of happiness. You remember a time you were extremely inspired by someone, enchanted by a story, and wondered about this. And give 30 seconds, 1 minute of each one of those pictures to feel it with intensity. And your brain starts secreting chemicals. And one chemical after one chemical, guess what? One add to one negate one is energy resonance. Whoa, here is beauty. And beside working on becoming more beautiful, always see the beautiful, concentrate. Sometimes we look at someone and say, what's so beautiful about this person? Rowan had an uncanny ability to see the beauty in people. 20 years ago, when we would go somewhere and you would see maybe a very ugly old man, according to to Hollywood, and I would pass by, not even pay attention or anything, and she would say, God, look at that person, isn't he beautiful? And I'm double take, like, what beautiful? And it took me a long time when I saw that person, I had to sense their beauty. So exercise in seeing the beauty and the goodness in all of us. There's always a good thing, and every person is made out of goodness. Actually, we are made out of beauty, goodness, and truth. Wise people sit wherever they are, people gravitate towards them. And they want to just talk to them, they want to be next to them. They want to just, because they feel different, they feel changed. Beauty, goodness, and truth is this is the map for a new spirituality. Instilling, working with those 8 frequencies of beauty and those 12 frequencies of goodness, of chivalry, and keep knowledge alive and become emotionally literate, intelligent, so that knowledge can turn into wisdom. So you don't have to wait for 20 years. You can close your eyes and feel those 12 qualities of frequencies of goodness. Have a picture for each. Imagine it, remember it, feel that feeling for a second, 30 seconds, so that your brain secretes the chemistry needed. And go back to your work. People will feel your beauty, your goodness. You don't have to wait till you're 70-year-old, sitting, looking beautiful, good, and wise. So that's the blueprint for a new humanity, and that's the new spirituality. What's up with beauty, goodness, and truth? It is the missing ingredient in leadership. Since I read the first book about leadership my father forced me to read when I was 16, 17, I noticed that every few years another book about leadership comes up. And when emotional intelligence came up, a new set of books came up. And when every time there's a new idea or concept, there's a new book about leadership. And most of them are just the same. The 7 qualities of the leader, the 11 secrets of the leader, the ingredient. Okay, but how come very few people follow those people? They just lead it by title. They don't really are leaders. People do not consider them as leaders. If you look at history, who are the most famous leaders we know about? Jesus, Muhammad, Gandhi, Buddha, Nelson Mandela. People follow them. Why? They didn't have a best-selling book or a training or Nobel Prize or maybe except Mandela. Why people follow them? Why people always do their picture with a halo around them, that they're enlightened? People saw the light, saw the divine in them. They are already oozing divinity. They were beautiful, they were good, they were wise. When Nelson Mandela came out of jail after 20, I don't know how many years in jail, being a fighter, the first thing he did, after years of civil war in South Africa, people hating each other, he forgave the white people. It shocked them. It transformed them all. They couldn't believe what a beautiful man he was. What a good person he was, and how wise of him to do that. Wow. Just forgiving action by being beautiful, good, and true without even doing anything. All the white people in South Africa lined up behind him. So did the black people, and a nation was created. Now, obviously, over time, other problems comes arise. But same thing with Gandhi. Gandhi decided he wants to help India get its independence back peacefully. And again, people heard about him. Even his name, the people would resonate with it, and they will be changed, and so on. All of those leaders had beauty, goodness, and truth. People saw the divine in them. People saw the light in them. When in front of them, around them, their disciples, they all were changed.